Welcome back to my Schoolbus mobile workshop conversion. The lease expired on my workshop, so I had to pack up and move to somewhere new that I could continue working on the bus. I painted it green, as it wasn't allowed on the roads while it was still yellow, and drove it up to the middle of nowhere in New York where I could continue working on it. I also made a few other changes to it that I don't have captured on video simply because I ran out of time. I packed all of my workshop stuff into it and drove up. One addition is this liftgate that I installed that gives me the ability to lift heavy things into the back of the vehicle. Obviously the ground here isn't flat, but that doesn't matter at the moment because I'm not actually lifting anything in here, but this gives me easy access to work on the door where I have been installing these rain shields around the outside. The liftgate arrived on a pallet. It weighed about 800 pounds, and my neighbor had to help with his forklift to lift it up to the back of the bus and hold it in place. We added support straps to the inside that support the weight of it when it is fully loaded. This way it is able to lift the full capacity of the liftgate, which is 1,600 pounds. On the inside of the bus, I've done a fair bit of work. I've installed these light panels, which I found someone threw them out because they were missing or their drivers were broken. So I installed new LED drivers. Right now they've got a hodgepodge of different ones, so they're slightly different in brightness, but I will replace them with all the same ones when I get around to it. I've also started putting in the ceiling, which is just made up of a whole bunch of overlapping panels. I've started installing walls here and running the electricity. Right now, I don't have a circuit breaker box, so everything comes down to these, just these cords, which I can plug into extension cords to power up the outlets. But that will change down the road. I also built this shelf here to hold up my 3D printers. That allowed me to unpack that box. A lot of stuff here is still very messy because I've had to move everything in the bus to bring it up here, but I haven't built any of the storage in here yet, so I don't have anywhere to put things away. Nevertheless, this is the basic layout of the back of the bus. So I have my tool chest over here. I've got the workbench. It is not going to have the printer on it. That's going to go on a shelf. The bandsaw here is going to get moved over closer to the welding table over there so that I can put the mini mill here in between the workbench and the bandsaw. Over here is the welding table, and then in this space here I'm going to have the lathe. And then over here I have the computerized stuff, the 3D printers, and eventually underneath them I'm going to put the CNC. I do not yet have a CNC, but it's good to have space planned for it when I do. I used a rubberized paint to paint the roof of the bus. It's a type of paint that's designed for RV roofs and is designed to reflect as much sunlight as possible. Now, most of this roof isn't actually going to be exposed directly to the sun because there's going to be solar panels over it. But for what is not, this will help reflect the light and keep there from being too much heating induced by the sun. And that will do it for this episode. In the next one, I will be building a stand for the lathe in the side of the bus.